All right, you might have seen my last video going over how to stretch out your nerve flossing for your upper body. Now, how do you do it for your lower body, right? First, you're going to want a space, a table, and I'm going to turn the screen and rotate it so it's easier for you to see my whole body as I do this, because you're going to be laying flat while you stretch out your lower body. Next, you're going to stretch out your body. So how do you stretch out the lower body? The main thing is the nerves mostly come from the back of us and the base of the spine. Now we're 3D, so it's not really the back of us. It's more like center back, right? But a lot of the nerves that irritate most people, not all, but most people, come through right here. And the ones that get irritated on people in the front often are irritated because of lack of use of those muscles and that range of motion. So this is the range of motion to stretch out the nerves in the back and activate the ones in the front so they feel like they're engaged and used properly. And often, I find a lot of tension and pain come from lack of engagement. The more we engage our body, the more happier it is. That's why movement and exercise feels so good. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to lay completely flat and you're going to bend one knee and bring it as close as you can to your butt, right? And that is your stability leg. Next thing you're going to do is try to tuck your tailbone so that your back is as flat to the ground as it can be, all right? Even if it feels like it elevates your butt a little bit, try to be as flat as you can. Bending this one leg makes it a little easier for a lot of people. Next thing you want to do is you're going to lift your toes, as you can see in this video, as far as you can. Same thing like the other video when we stretched out the upper body nerves. You need to create tension because the nerves are the least flexible part of the body to floss all those nerves for your lower body through all the holes so that, you got to pull on one end for it to go through the other ends. All the little holes and pathways it goes through. Either way, you lift the toes as far as you can and you lift your leg. And you're going to keep that foot engaged the whole time, allowing for you to feel like a mild calf stretch, right? And as those toes are lifted, you're going to feel the front of your hip engage, right? That's the main muscle group that we're really using, is that psoas and hip flexors and all that stuff, right? You're lifting the toes and you do 1, 2 at the very end and then back down. Doesn't matter how far you go. It's about going to the edge of your range of motion and stopping for a second. Only a second. That's why I count 1, 2, and then I move on. So 1, 2, drop. 1, 2, drop. Good. 1, 2, drop. 1, 2, drop. Good. Then I rotate the foot inwards as much as I can, and I lift the foot, and you should feel it along the inside of your thigh, on the outside of your ankle. And you go with those toes lifted the whole time. 1, 2, drop. Good. 1, 2, drop. Good. And 1, 2, drop. Good. Nice. Then you rotate the foot outwards as far as you can. This is what I mean by rotate your foot outwards. You'll feel it in the hip bone. The knee is straight the whole time. And you want to feel a rotation within the femur, the hip socket right here, right? So we're doing 1, 2 again. 1, 2. Oh, God, this is my weak spot. 1, 2. Only as far as you can, but you really try to toe that line. And 1, 2. Last one. Whew. Good. And then you would switch sides, which is you bend this knee, the leg that you're using. Good. Chuck that hip again so you make sure your back's still flat to the table. And extend this leg. Then you're going to lift your toes as far as you can. And again, 1, 2 at the very end of that range of motion. See how my foot's pointing flat? Good. 1, 2. 1, 2. You can do this as fast or as slow as you want, but that end of the range, you want to do just for 2 seconds at the end. 1, 2. Good. 4 or 5 for each one. 1, 2. Oh, lovely. I gotta do this more often. 1, 2. Oh, wonderful. Then you're gonna rotate your foot again. Rotate inwards, right? And you're going to feel that along the inside of that calf right here and along the inside of this thigh right here. So we're going to do 1, 2. Good. 1, 2. Oh, awesome. 1, 2. You should feel it quite a bit in your hip flexors here and that front of the hip, and that is good. You're activating, bringing blood flow to all those muscles. How often do you do stuff like this that really fully activates your hip flexors? And this is why a lot of us hurt when we go from sitting to standing, because our hip flexors cannot relax if they're not fully engaged. Awesome. So I've done all the internal rotation. Now we go external rotation, right? Good. So 1, 2. Beautiful. Oh. 1, 2. Whew. 1, 2. Awesome. 1, 2. Oh, lovely. Last one. 1, 2. Oh, that was a lovely stretch. Hands down, the best one in a while. Now you finish with a bridge. Now, I usually do a bridge like after I've done that whole range of motion we just did. Then we start completely flat again. We've tucked the hips, the low back is as flat as it can be. You bring the ankles, the heels as close to your butt as you can. And then you tuck your elbows underneath you, right? Because what we're going to be doing is lifting our hips up. But you got to push, not with your head and neck, with your elbows and your heels, okay? You do not want to put a strain on your neck. You should not feel this in your neck or upper shoulders at all. This is purely elbows and heels, okay? So pushing up. 1, 2. And you should feel like a flatness. You're not going for overextension. You're going for a flatness, right? And then back down. Good. And again, 1, 2, and drop down. Elbows and heels. 1, 2. Good. And drop down. And this is about bringing extension to all those muscles that you just practiced in flexion. Now you're extending them, right? At the same time, you're strengthening and activating blood flow in all the muscles you just stretched out. It's a great ending to this range of motion work that we're doing, called nerve flossing. All right. So again, 1, 2 at the very end. Back down. Again. 1, 2. And I usually, again, finish about 4 or 5 of whatever I'm doing range of motion wise. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I hope this helped.